All right, welcome back to the channel. Wow, big news. Terence Crawford sues Top Rank for upwards of $10 million for racial bias and damaging his career. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. Before I get into this video though, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, share, like the video, would be greatly appreciated. Man, this is really big news and something that could be very damaging to Top Rank and something that people have suspected was going on for a long time. But Terence Crawford, to his credit, is getting out there and has filed a lawsuit, according to the New York Post, against Bob Arum. So let's go through it just a little bit. He said it alleges, the suit also mentions big names in the sport such as Floyd Mayweather Jr. as have been mistreated by Arum, who scoffed at the legal allegations when reached by the Post. He said, "I haven't seen the lawsuit. This is Arum, but it's ridiculous." And for years, this is what the lawsuit, some of the excerpts from the lawsuit say. For years, professional boxers and others in sports world have called out Top Rank's owner Bob Arum for his desperate treatment of black boxers, including those very same black boxers that Top Rank is contractually obligated to promote. Because of this boxing, a sport with a checkered history, and because Bob Arum is now dismissed as a grumpy old man, Arum continues to make racist and bigoted statements and purposefully damage the reputation of black boxers without any consequence. This is generally because of the affected boxers who are in long-term contracts with Top Rank fear that if they speak up, they will be placed on the sideline and not given the opportunity to fight during the life of their deal, which could be 5 to 7 years. He also says it is painfully clear that Top Rank, and especially Arum, judges people based on their race. Arum's sordid history with athletes of color, especially black fighters, and his bias favoring Europeans and Latinos is well documented throughout the boxing world. It continues by claiming that Arum makes no secret of his deep-seated bias against black fighters. For example, his legendary black boxer, he called legendary boxer Floyd Mayweather Jr. soft and claimed that he shoots up cars, reinforcing an insidious racial stereotype with no bias in fact. He consistently mocks rival promoter Al Heyman and his relationship with black fighters, saying that they would steer a black fighter away from fighting Crawford out of a sense of brotherhood. It adds, most egregiously, Top Rank, Arum, and DeBuff have allowed Arum's bias against fighters to taint the treatment of Crawford, especially once it became clear in Arum's mind that Crawford would not re-sign with Top Rank. Crawford also alleges in the lawsuit that Arum deliberately and negligently failed to build him into a pay-per-view star and instead publicly criticized him for not attracting enough views. Arum has repeatedly claimed Top Rank has lost money on Crawford's fights. In truth, Top Rank, a company with 0 black executives and only 2 or 3 black employees, refuse to admit that it simply does not care about, support, or know how to support black fighters. Recently, while most businesses have become sensitive to the issues of race and social justice, Top Rank is not. At the time when most businesses took steps to honor black lives in the wake of George Floyd, Top Rank actually refused to place the Black Lives Matter logo on its mats and its rings. Instead of standing behind a black fighter such as Crawford, it publicly criticized them. Top Rank's current smear campaign is deliberately aimed at punishing Crawford for leaving Top Rank and making it harder for him to find a new promoter. It goes on and on and on, and so you can get that at the you can read that in the New York Post. So all I can say is, man, wow, and really good for Terence Crawford. because that is something that we have seen and people have known to be true, at least in my opinion. I've seen over the course of the years, there is no way in the world that Bob Arum cannot find a way to promote some of the fighters that this guy has in his stable that are some of the best fighters you could possibly name, that you could possibly ask for in the sport of boxing. The fact that he could not, watching how he developed Floyd Mayweather Jr. and the treatment of Floyd Mayweather Jr. When Floyd Mayweather Jr., you could see in anybody that could watch boxing knew how good Floyd Mayweather Jr. was, and the man was absolutely positively mistreated. He talked about Floyd Mayweather the same way he talked about Terence Crawford, and he's right, man. When Terence Crawford was talking about getting out of his contract or not re-signing, Bob Arum would let it be known to anybody and everybody around that how much money he lost on Terence Crawford. But the fact of the matter is that Bob Arum never really tried at all to promote Terence Crawford and grow Terence Crawford into a star. It was very, very obvious that the people that he wanted to, that Bob Arum wanted to make stars were Teofimo Lopez, Tyson Fury, Vasily Lomachenko, and even though Terence Crawford would have the highest rankings on regular ESPN, much higher than Teofimo Lopez had, much higher than Vasily Lomachenko had, still refused to put that guy out there and promote him. Honestly, man, I'm really very, very glad that Terence Crawford took that step, because I've been doing these videos about Terence Crawford and the Errol Spence fight, right? And I'm telling you, man, it's not easy for me to say, look, dude, Terence, you probably should just take what you can get to get the Errol Spence Jr. fight, win the fight if you can win the fight, and then go on from there and get the big dollar fights, right? But the part in the thing that gets me, man, is that you also see guys like Shakur Stevenson, right? Shakur Stevenson is pretty much in the same situation that Terence Crawford was, right? So like if it happened one time with Floyd Mayweather Jr., that would have been one thing, right? But to see it happen again with Terence Crawford, that's another thing. But now to see how they're going about promoting and preventing Shakur Stevenson from getting opportunities that would make him a breakout star. It's like, once, twice, three times. Come on, man. Now, like I said, I'm not going to tell you whether I think, Bob Arum is actually, going to be able to wind up having to pay the money or whatever, man. But regardless of what the scenario is, this is a big mark on Top Rank. This is something from a PR standpoint that Top Rank is going to have to handle, is going to have to deal with, and they're going to have to change their ways, man. Because when they're talking about, like, you look at Top Rank, and Top Rank only has 3 black executives. Man, that's shameful, especially when you know what what Top Rank started off as, which was something that was founded by a guy from the Nation of Islam who was the manager of Muhammad Ali, and how Bob Arum basically got put on by Muhammad Ali, right? But I've said this a bunch of times. After Muhammad Ali retired and after was over, and after Sugar Ray Leonard and those guys went away, Bob Arum started promoted almost exclusively Latino fighters and Eastern European fighters. Now, I would always rank it up, trying to be politically correct about it, saying, look, man, it's probably he just doesn't want to pay some of these guys the money, right, that's due. But look, man, it's just going to be real interesting, man. And my hat goes off to Terence Crawford for filing the lawsuit. Again, you can find this article on the New York Post. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.